Can you imagine going into space just like going on a vacation to Hawaii Islands? Is space tourism a good idea? Can space tourism be the new generation of the tourism industry? How much does it cost for a single trip? Do we have enough resources to implement this? If possible, how far do we go from the Earth and come back? This is today's Can You Imagine? According to the latest surveys, almost 60% of children in present days have a dream of going to space or flying an airplane. This states that humans' interest is mostly turning towards exploring space. Just comment down below how many of you wanted to become an astronaut or pilot. The history of the space race started in the 1950s between the Soviet Union and the United States. The rocket designer Sergei Korolev had developed the first ICBM, a rocket called the R-7, which began the space race. Well, it's not the human who visited space first. The first living creature sent into space is a dog named Lika. On the Soviet spacecraft Sputnik, this dog was popularly known as the Soviet space dog. One of the scientists behind the Sputnik 2 mission revealed that Laika had died by the fourth circuit of flight from overheating. The first human in space was the Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, who made one orbit around Earth on April 12, 1961, on a flight that lasted 108 minutes. This happened during the period of political hostility between the Soviet Union and the United States known as the Cold War. Almost a year after the Soviet Union put a human into orbit, astronaut John Glenn became the first American to orbit the Earth on February 20, 1962. In those days the aerospace industry is so costly. Small countries could not afford such kind of research or technology. But in today's world, China, India, and Japan are the major players in Asia. Other Southeast nations and European nations are developing their satellites and space launch vehicles. The success rate has risen to 94% and means only 6 rockets fail among 100 rockets. This is according to 2015. If we calculate in 2021, it may still go up. Space tourism is a frictional topic before, but now, space tourism is a reality. 4 tourists have traveled to the International Space Station at their own expense, and at least 4 companies are developing suborbital tourist vehicles like Virgin Galactic, Space Adventures, Rocket Plane Kistler, and Blue Origin. Not only does space tourism extend the freedom to travel into space for those with the means, but it also promises a profitable market to develop the launch vehicles necessary to expand life throughout the solar system. Space tourism may solve the single most difficult problem holding up space settlement: safe and inexpensive transportation from the surface of the Earth to low Earth orbit. In 2015, India's first venture into the interplanetary space. Remarkably, the entirety of India's Mangalyaan mission cost just 4.5 billion rupees, or about $74 million. Compare this to NASA's own Maven Mars orbiter, which has a total mission cost of around $672 million. If the cost per kilometer is calculated, it takes only $0.01 per kilometer, which is cheaper than taxis nowadays. History was made on May 31st, when a SpaceX spacecraft carried 2 NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. With this milestone, private participation in space exploration. Here are some entrepreneurs and companies trying to make a mark far beyond our pale blue dot. On June 21, 2004, scaled composite spaceship and became the first non-governmental crewed spacecraft to cross the Kármán line, which lies 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface, and is globally accepted as the point of space entry. Blue Origin by Jeff Bezos has developed reusable vertical takeoff and vertical landing rockets. The British billionaire Richard Branson floated the company to fly tourists into space. It had set a target of 2009, but failed to meet that. In 2014, Virgin Galactic spacecraft crashed and killed the pilot. In 2018, Virgin's reusable spaceship WO, built in coordination with scaled composites, reached nearly 90 kilometers above the surface of Earth. The Branson brand has already earned the company $200,000 in deposits from 680 aspiring space tourists. Bigelow Aerospace company founded by the hotel magnate wanted to provide low-cost living, working, and storage infrastructure in space. It also provides some protection from solar and cosmic radiation, space debris, and other elements. SpaceX Axiom Space One planned to send tourists to the ISS in January 2022 using a Dragon 2 spacecraft. Considering the huge popularity of space exploration, by 2035 space tourism will be available for a common man with few medical checkups as criteria. The big company Disney planning for space restaurant. While Walt Disney World has not announced an official date and there are no rumors, the expected opening date for Space 220 restaurant is October 1, 2021. So how would be the story of living in space? Well, that's a story of another, can you imagine?